Germany, we just cannot catch a break from Viking Age discoveries because now northern Denmark has yielded one of the largest Viking gold treasures ever found here. 6 solid gold bracelets dating back more than 1,000 years were uncovered near Hol in Himmerland, a place close to the city of Aalborg. Together, the 6 bracelets weigh about 750 grams. The treasure was first brought to the attention of archaeologists of the Museum of Northern Jutland after someone spotted 2 rings partially exposed in the soil beside a field road in a wooded area near Hol. We have both twisted and smooth bracelets, all likely crafted by a specialized metal worker. 3 of the rings were made by twisting together gold rods, one decorated with thin inlaid gold wire and finished with knob-shaped fastenings. The others were formed from solid rods or wire and ended with tightly wrapped closures called running knots. And one bracelet stands out from the rest because of its flattened ends, which are decorated with zigzag motifs and triangular patterns. They have been dated to the mid-10th century, which was a time of great changes when regional power centers were gradually being brought together under a single monarchy. Keyword here, Harald Bluetooth. The original owners of the Hol bracelets may therefore have had direct connections to the emerging Danish royal power of the 10th century. It may be a deliberate deposit because the items are intact, so perhaps they were not intended for trade at all. Maybe the owners wanted to secure valuables during times of unrest or as part of some ritual practice, which is something I've also discussed in my video about the silver treasure that was recently discovered in Norway. Now, because I said the 3rd largest find of its kind, if you're wondering about who owns the title, well, that would be the massive Tissø ring that was found in West Zealand in 1977. This is an approximately 2-kilogram ring of pure gold. A local king would have ruled here from about 600 to the beginning of 1000. And one remarkable aspect of Viking Tissø is a cult house where people paid homage to the old gods, most likely the war god Tyr, after whom the lake is named. Many swords have been found at the bottom of the lake, possibly sacrificed in his honor. Gold in the Viking Age was not that popular compared to the other metals in the sense of being commonplace or widely accessible, but it rather served as the ultimate material manifestation of high social status, and it also had sort of a religious aura around it. While the Viking Age is frequently referred to as the Age of Silver due to the massive influx of Islamic dirhams and Western pennies, gold remained an exceptionally rare and prestigious resource that was primarily confined to the uppermost echelons of society. Silver transitioned into a functional medium for everyday transactions within a dual currency or bullion economy, but gold, on the other hand, was almost exclusively bound to status-oriented economies, ceremonial gift-giving, and ritual performance. The relative scarcity of gold meant that it functioned a bit differently than other metals in the Scandinavian world. While copper was mined locally in Sweden, gold alongside tin or lead had to be imported via extensive long-distance trade networks. Because of its rarity, true gold objects are significantly less common in the archaeological record than those made of bronze or silver. In many instances, the appearance of gold was actually simulated through mercury gilding of bronze objects because this would have allowed a wider range of the elite to display the golden aesthetic without the cost of solid bullion. So when gold did enter the economic sphere, it often did so in the form of bullion such as bars, rods, and arm rings that were weighed on precision scales. Archaeological finds at sites like Torksey in the British Isles reveal that gold was part of a multiple metal weight economy where even the very small fragments, the hack gold, were valued by weight, although it was far more unusual than the use of hack silver. Some research also suggests that gold functioned as a high-value currency, where 1 mark of gold would have been the equivalent of about 8 or 9 marks of silver. On the other hand, as you probably can imagine, gold played a foundational role in the martial and political ideology of the Viking Age leadership. because chieftains and kings would recruit and maintain their warrior retinues, also called hird, through an inflationary spiral of competitive gift giving, where gold was the most desired reward. In skaldic poetry, generous leaders were often praised as gold breakers, ring flingers, gold diminishers, which are all metaphors or kennings that emphasize their willingness to basically destroy their own wealth by distributing it to loyal followers. So generosity could really get you a long way. The archetypal gift was the arm ring, of course, often referred in poetry by metaphors such as the embers of the hands. Now, these rings were decorative. They would have been very appealing at the time, but at the same time, they were a sort of wearable currency, often manufactured to specific weight standards, such as multiples of 100 or 200 grams. Accepting such a gift served as a public contract, binding you as a warrior to the Lord in a reciprocal relationship of loyalty and patronage. Gold would have been used to enhance the symbolic power of military equipment as well, particularly swords, which were the most prestigious of all Viking weapons. High status sword hilts were often embellished with gold wire, gold plating, or even literal gold rings locked into the guards. We have the so called ring swords. And all of this would have signified the owner's rank and their sworn loyalty to a war commander. These ancient heirlooms were frequently named and passed down through generations, carrying with them the biographies and glory of their previous owners. In the realm of artistic expression, gold was used for delicate filigree and granulation work on luxury items like disc brooches that were found in Danish and Swedish hoards. One spectacular example, which is not the Huen hoard that I've already mentioned in a previous video, is the Erikstop hoard, which contains about 2 kilograms of gold and dates back to 957. The find contains gold alongside silver dirhams, and it represents a complete set of elite female dress jewelry, including 6 golden arm rings with elegant knots and 2 rectangular brooches decorated in the yelling style. Notably, it also includes a round gold filigree brooch that was produced from a mold identical to the one found in the major trading center of Hedeby, which is a clear example of the reach of urban craft networks. At Valsier, the funerary boats contained gilded weapons decorated with red on gold cloisonné patterns, and one of the Salme boat burials in Estonia contained 34 men buried with 42 swords, many featuring bejeweled hilts and gold decoration. One individual was interred with a ring-hilt sword, while another brother in the same grave was buried with a sword featuring a blade inlaid with gold wire and a gilded bronze handle decorated with 25 garnet gemstones. So indeed, we are dealing with very rich warriors. Female graves, particularly on the island of Gotland, often contained box-shaped brooches that were silver or gold-plated. High-ranking individuals at the town of Birka, such as the man in grave 716, were interred in Oriental-style dress decorated with gold and silver wire embroidery. At Himlingoya in Denmark, an exceptionally rich woman's grave contained a piece of gold placed in her mouth. The popularity of gold extended into the supernatural and religious spheres as well. We have the small, thin gold foils known as guldgubber, often stamped with images of embracing couples or some kind of mythological figures that have been found in the post halls of high-status halls and temples like those at Upokra and Slöinge. These were likely used as votive offerings to perhaps hallow the building or facilitate communication with the divine. The potential belief that you would have taken this wealth in the afterlife would have also driven the deposition of gold in places like bogs, wetlands, and earlier prehistoric burial mounds, where they would have functioned as a kind of spiritual investment rather than retrieved capital. The presence of gold coins and jewelry in graves, even clearly Christian ones like St. Cuthbert's coffin, which contains a gold cross, does in a way lend credence to this whole idea that gold was a necessary component of the social identity of the deceased in the afterlife. Do you have a favorite ancient precious item? Please share in a comment if you do. It doesn't have to be Viking, it can be anything that caught your attention, and I will be very interested to know. If you enjoyed the video, there is much more treasure on the channel, so feel free to browse through my other Viking archaeology videos. And if you want to support my work, consider a paid membership that grants you access to university lectures as well, for example, on Old Norse religion or the Viking diaspora. As always, this was Irina. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.